meditation. So that's very, very fortunate, because amongst us in a few moments we'll have Sister Jayanti, and we call her the flying angel. And you know, the angel is always light, always happy. And when you look at the angel doesn't do anything. He just is and spreads a lot of positivity, spreads lightness. Though when she comes, I feel that we'll all be charged. We'll get that opportunity to really charge ourselves, to really have some realizations. And you know, I remember a time, maybe some of you were there, जब हमारी दादी जानकी जी आते थे. She was 104 years old. How many of you have seen Dadi ji or met her? Raise your hands. Okay, few of you, and few haven't. So I remember same spot where Dadi Janki ji used to be there, and same similar programs just before COVID, and people used to come. And now Dadi ji is, after 104, she of course reached her stage and passed on the baton to the next. Of course, our Dadi Ratan Mohini is the chief of the Brahma Kumaris, but we have our Jayanti Didi and Mohini Didi from New York, additional chief of the Brahma Kumaris. So we are very fortunate that we will get essential meanings. So when she comes, of course, we're going to have a little presentation before that, a little activity, but also, if time permits, our idea is that you are able to interact also. So, of course, she shares. Now you will notice that she really is like an angel. I mean, she speaks with those feelings and those vibrations. And we are all blessed to be here together. And I feel very blessed to be here. The time which is going outside in the world is so different. And here we are talking about blessings and experiencing them. And we are here from different walks of life. Maybe we haven't met, all of us, we haven't met one another, and yet we have that connection. And so that is something very special, and we will experience it. So as time permits, we will also want that each one gets a chance to interact. We can have a quick round of introduction, if as per you'll have a mic if it works, and let's see, but definitely a few interactions or questions at the end. Yes? So once again, thank you very much. We have some more joining because they got attracted to the big crowd. They thought the gala is happening there. We must go there and here. So you want to have both the cakes. So let's just sit in silence. I would just request you, so to begin, let's prepare our minds. Let's sit in silence. So when I sit in silence, I think the first thing to silence is our, what do you think? Before the mind, you must silence your phones. Because if your phone is not silent, your mind will not be silent. So may I request you to just put your phones, if you can, put it on flight mode and just let go of everything else for the next 1 hour. The sky won't fall, and even if it does, that's okay. You'll be blessed. So, or at least put the phone on silent, and let's just prepare ourselves. So may I just take you to a little meditation? Okay, and then we will just keep silent. So just sit back, and I would request you not to hold on to anything. For example, your mobiles or your pens, and just don't hold on like this. Okay, keep things away. Okay, take the support of your back of the chair. Put your feet flat on the ground. अपने पैरों को सीधा रखें. And whenever you sit, take out this time for meditation, always sit a little separately. Even if you are family or friends or relatives, always sit a little separately. Okay, so don't touch one another. And sit back straight, but not stiff. My feet is flat on the ground. Just put the music a little low. थोड़ा कम करें music. Let the music be there, not pull it down. Now, your hands open on your thighs. अपने दोनों हाथों को खुला अपने thighs पे रखें. कुछ भी hold on नहीं करें, ना ही मन में, ना ही हाथों में. और हम अब कुछ क्षणों के लिए जो कुछ भी चारों ओर चल रहा है, आवाजें हैं, उन सब से भी अपने आप को अलग करेंगे. लेकिन हमारा मन कॉन्स्टेंटली चलता रहता है और हमारे मन में न चाहते हुए भी कई सारी बातें आ रही हैं. Whatever happened in the morning, or maybe something that you need to do, or something which is not relevant, but it is still going on in your mind. For a few moments, just let it go. And tell yourself कि मैं अभी से कुछ समय के लिए केवल वर्तमान में हूँ, वर्तमान में रहूँगा. And just take a few deep breaths in and out. Very normally, very gently. Sometimes we forget to breathe properly. Let me take this opportunity to breathe properly. I gently breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. और जैसे जैसे हम normally और gently I make my breathing rhythmic, I connect my thoughts to it. तब महसूस करें कि जैसे जैसे आप श्वास बाहर छोड़ते हैं, आपके अंदर का सारा तनाव, सारा स्ट्रेस बाहर जा रहा है. और जैसे जैसे आप श्वास भीतर लेते हैं, तो महसूस करें शांति को. Once again, as you're breathing in and out, experience that with every breath out, you are letting go of all your tensions and your burdens. And with every breath in, you are inhaling peace. Once again, as you breathe out, you are letting go of your anger, your irritation. And as you're breathing in, you are experiencing calm. And now, just relax your whole body and let go of the unnecessary emotions which get stuck into this physical body. So just experience that everything negative is going out of your system. अपने पूरे शरीर को बिल्कुल relax कर दे. Your toes, your ankles, both your legs. Relax your stomach, your back and spine, your chest, your shoulders. So just drop your shoulders, your hand and your fingers. And now move towards your neck और अपनी गर्दन की भी हर एक मांसपेशी को बिल्कुल रिलैक्स करें. You can move your neck if you want. And now move towards your face and let go of any tension and relax each and every part of your face. Your chin, your lips, your nose, your eyes, your eyebrows, your forehead, completely relaxed. And now, create a smile on your face, a gentle smile on your face, and this smile is for me. हम स्वयं के लिए मुस्कुरा रहे हैं. कई बार हमें दूसरों के लिए मुस्कुराना पड़ता है, But take this opportunity to smile at your own self, to look at your own self, to look at your inner beauty. Just observe how relaxed you are. Your breathing is normal, your body is relaxed, and you have a smiling face. And in this state, now step inwards and just see yourself as a soul. See yourself as a point of light in the center of the forehead. मस्तक के बीचों बीच एक बहुत सुंदर चमकता हुआ सितारा, a very beautiful point of light. This is who I am, the being of love, the being of light, free from all my burdens, all my worries. I am happy, I am peaceful, I am powerful, and this is who I am. Experience that from your forehead. Vibrations of peace are coming and spreading all around you. आपके चारों ओर गहरे शांति के प्रकंपन है और आप चारों ओर शांति के प्रकंपनों के बीचों बीच बैठे हुए हैं. And now we sit in deep silence for 1 minute. Just sit in deep silence for another 1 minute. So I just open my eyes, but I hold on to that energy. And I just want to know how many of you actually experienced peace. Just don't do anything else. Don't do anything else. Just open your eyes, because this can be your state while you're in action. You don't have to be just closed eyes and sitting and experiencing who you are, but that is who you are all the time. Make sense? So we are going to have a little bit of an activity, but your challenge is that don't forget who you are. Your peace, your love, your happiness. It doesn't matter if there is sound, and it doesn't matter if your eyes are open. It is immaterial. Okay? I call upon Sister Ishu. Ishu बहन हमारे मध्य आएंगी, and she is going to take us to this wonderful activity. So, over to Sister Ishu. But I maintain who I am.
ओम शांति. A very good evening. बहुत अच्छा मेडिटेशन चल रहा है, तो उसी में ही दिस इज नॉट जस्ट एक्टिविटी बट अ रिफ्लेक्शन दिस इज द वैल्यूज इस पर लिखी हुई है बहुत अच्छी अच्छी, हैप्पीनेस, जॉय एंड लव एंड ऑल। तो आप सभी आते जाएंगे।
So, so let's just give Sister Jayanti a wave of the angelic wave, you know, because we have an angel with us, so let's have this angelic wave. And I formally welcome our flying angel, our respected Didi Jayanti. She is the additional chief of the Brahma Kumaris, and really we would say that an inspiration, who's lightening the world, who's spreading so much joy, who is, you can feel those vibrations. And Didi, they have come here just to meet you, just to get those vibrations, and if time permits, a little bit of their interaction with you. Some of them have come for the first time, some of them have been connected as friends. So let's begin. I would request Sister Isha to continue with the activity. So we can distribute.
Yes. So don't distribute. You just come inside in this room. Please come this way. And all of you come and just take this power of blessing. Please come.
Okay. So we just make it a little more.
Just इसको लेंगे but आप लगाएंगे नहीं. When we say then आप उसको लगाएंगे. जो ब्लेसिंग आपके पास पहुंच गई है, यू जस्ट सी दैट. और राघव भाई थोड़ा सा आगे कर देंगे फास्ट. रिस्पेक्टेड आशा दीदी भी हमारे बीच में पहुंच गए हैं. इस ब्लेसिंग्स को जब तक आपके पास ये पहुंच रही है, देयर इज अ वेरी गुड एम कि ये ब्लेसिंग में जॉय, नॉलेज, प्योरिटी, पीस, हैप्पीनेस, ये सब कुछ है. तो इसको हमें था कि इंटरेक्शन में जब हम किसी को देते हैं, हम खुशी देना चाहते हैं, हम प्यार देना चाहते हैं, हम लव देना चाहते हैं, हैप्पीनेस देना चाहते हैं. तो जब हम उसको फिजिकली देखते हैं, बार बार उस गुण को देखते हैं, तो वो फील लाइक दैट कि हम भी वैसे हैं और दूसरा भी हमारे साथ वैसा है. तो दिस इज द पावर ऑफ ब्लेसिंग. तो ब्लेसिंग की एक्टिविटी है और आप सभी खड़े हो जाएंगे और जहाँ जहाँ पे आप हैं, आपने अपने आप को लगाया है, प्लीज स्टैंड अप. जस्ट yes, just for a few minutes you all stand up. yes. और वो जो कार्ड है, you just exchange your card. जो आपने लिया है उसको exchange कर लीजिए with your another partner. just change the card. और उस कार्ड में जो लिखा है उसको पढ़ के आपको उनको सुनाना है. yes. अब इस कार्ड को एक और exchange कर लीजिए. 2 times और एक्सचेंज कर लीजिए. यस. और आपको जो आया है उसको रीड आउट करना है और उसको आगे एक्सचेंज करना है. यस. So now how many powers and how many blessings you have? Anybody can share? Yes. How many full you have? Yes. Purity, charity, blessings, love. तो थैंक यू सो मच. किसी और के पास ऐसी पावर्स एंड ब्लेसिंग्स आई? 2 or 3? यस. लव एंड काइंड. तो पावर ऑफ ब्लेसिंग्स के प्रोग्राम के लिए यू ऑल आर हियर और ऑलरेडी वी हैव लॉट ऑफ ब्लेसिंग्स गॉड की तरफ से भी और साथ हमारे कलीग्स की तरफ से भी. लास्ट विजडम. यस. ओके, सो दिस इज जस्ट एक्टिविटी. अब जो लास्ट आपके पास आया है उसको आप लगा लीजिए. दिस इज योर रियल पावर. सारी पावर्स है बट द लास्ट वन जो आपके पास है दैट इज योर यूनिवर्स. हमने पिक किया था कुछ और से बट नाउ जो मुझे मिला है दैट इज माय ब्लेसिंग एंड दिस इज माय पावर. सो थैंक यू. टू प्लीज सिट डाउन प्लीज. Ascendant, please continue.
So I think we've got a blessing as well. हम सब really blessed हैं. हमने अनुभव अपना भी किया, हमें फरिश्तों का संग भी मिल रहा है और सचमुच अब हम ये चाहेंगे कि हमारे बीच हमारी आदरणीय दीदी को हम सभी वेलकम करना चाहते हैं. पहले तो तालियों के साथ. So let's come out of the meditation. और हमारे मध्य कुछ हमारे मेहमान हैं. हम उनसे अनुरोध करेंगे कि उनके पास बुके हैं, वो आदरणीय दीदी को बुके से स्वागत करेंगे. So you can come from that, yeah, just go from the inside. We have Mr. Jayant Sinha with us. He is the additional secretary from the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. We have Ms. Sunita Pant. She is the Joint Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. We have also Ms. Sheelu Lalwani. She is an industrialist. We have Mr. Jacob Matthew. He is the editor, coordinating editor from TV9 with us. We have Mr. Mehula to come. He is the head strategy in the WAVE group. And if there is anyone else who has a booking, and also we have Ms. Ruby Rajvanshi is with us. Welcome. She is the managing director of Hatch. And we welcome and हम अपनी तालियों के साथ welcome कर सकते हैं हमारे मन में हमारे. So we have our good wishes and a welcome, very warm welcome. So good wishes and blessings are getting exchanged. So I was thinking that, all of us have gathered, and if we can just quickly have, especially those who have come for the first time, a show of hand, आप में से कौन पहली बार आए हैं? अपने हाथ उठाएं, आप पहली बार आए, वेलकम. So हम दीदी से भी मुझे लगता है अब हम दीदी के पास ही चलते हैं सुनने के लिए. अगर हमारे पास टाइम है, अगर आप शॉर्ट में बोलें, so just share those who've come for the first time, just a little bit, your name and your, from where you've come, your designation or organization. Just one word. The mic is in front of you. Let's just quickly do that. So just 3 words, your name, your organization, or what you do.
Jacob Matthew, I'm a journalist from TV9 Network.
Yeah, just pass on the mic, yes. Is there a rolling mic we have? Cordless? Yes.
Kunal Suri, I'm a hotelier from Delhi.
Yeah, just pass.
I'm Renu Suri. I'm a housewife.
Dr. Vikram Datta, Director Professor, Lady Harding Medical College.
Dr. Namita Nigam Datta, gynecologist.
Kiran Nandrajo, I'm Director Global Precision Private Limited.
Just tell your name at least. Your name. No, just share your name, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Neelam Gulati, I'm a homemaker. Rama Basi, I'm a director in LG Concepts and Designs.
Just give a cordless mic, I think that will be a little faster. So,
I'm Baba Soul, Wandy Mehra, Director Study by Janak. I'm another angel of Baba. My name is Sadhna Mehta. I'm an energy medicine practitioner.
I'm Savita Raj and I produce films in Bollywood.
I'm Sonia Vadwa. I'm into costume jewelry. Neelu Jain. I'm a happy homemaker.
I am Anita. I am a housewife. I am Suman Agarwal. I am also a housewife.
दीदी डॉक्टर का नाम प्रदीप निर्मला है मेरा कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में हेड ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजी लीगल कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस शांति शांति दीदी मैं डॉक्टर गौरी शंकर हूँ 35 years I've served with the government of India and I have been associated with since so many years when I was posted in London. Thank you.
I'm Madhulika Kumar. I'm a landscape architect and I am really blessed from all of you. Thank you. Om Shanti. I'm Tanu Gupta. I'm Baba's child. That's all I would like to say.
Hello. Om Shanti. I'm Anu Gurnani. I'm a social worker.
Namaste, Om Shanti. I'm Madhu Seli and I'm a homemaker. Niranjan Gadodia, I'm businessman.
I am Nisha. I am a housewife. Om Shanti. I'm Anjali Israni. I'm a homemaker.
Om Shanti. I'm Shilu Lalwani. I'm a housewife.
Om Shanti. Neeraj Rajvanshi, retired engineering consultant. Thank you.
ओम शांति दीदी मेरा नाम रूबी एम आई ऑडिबल
Yes, you are.
ओम शांति दीदी मेरा नाम रूबी राजवंशी है और आई एम मैनेजिंग हैच ऑपरेशन इन इंडिया आई थैंक अ लॉर्ड ब्रह्म कुमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर मेकिंग मी एक्सपीरियंस हेवन ऑन दिस अर्थ थैंक यू सो मच दीदी
I'm General Manager Vigilance. I am V.S.N. Rao, working as General Manager Vigilance in MMTC Limited, a public sector undertaking, and trying to understand what is spirituality.
My name is Ramya. I'm a homemaker.
Good evening, everybody. My name is P.S. Prasad. I'm a judge, judicial member in the National Company Law Tribunal.
Om Shanti. I'm Jayan Sinha, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting.
And a few just quickly at the back, and those who have not spoken. Just very
Om
quick.
Shanti. Amit Pansar. I'm head strategy for Syria element into home appliances.
Om Shanti. I am Shreya Garwal and I'm working as a law faculty.
Om Shanti. My name is Sanjay Agarwal, and I am an engineer by profession and have recently started a startup in the energy domain. Thank you.
Om Shanti, my name is Amay Sathe. I'm editor-in-chief of two websites, diplomacyindia.com and sarkaritel.com. And Didi, you mentioned about Zoom. During Zoom, I connected with a lady, she's a businesswoman and she hails from Finland. And I interviewed her and she mentioned about you.
Mentioned about the Jayanti, yes.
Om Shanti. I'm Ida Rajguru. HR is my profession and the passion is to work for women and children. It's wonderful experience to be here. Thank you. Om Shanti. Isha Bajaj, IT entrepreneur. Om Shanti. Gayatri Narad, housewife.
Om Shanti. I'm Sanjay Puri, businessman.
ओम शांति दीदी एक्स कमर्शियल पायलट इन एयर इंडिया अब बाबा के ज्ञान में पूरा समर्पित और डॉक्टर ब्रेच एंड्रे क्राउन इंडिया उन्होंने निमित्त बनाया बाबा के ज्ञान में लगाने के लिए थैंक यू
ओम शांति दीदी रजनी शंकर रिटायर्ड फ्रॉम एयर इंडिया आपकी बच्ची
And I think some people at the back of this row is also left.
ओम शांति मेरा अमृतपाल है और मैं बाबा की बच्ची थैंक यू
ओम शांति। मैं बाबा की बच्ची हूँ और कैंसर पेशेंट्स के साथ काम करती हूँ। मेरा नाम रेनू है।
ओम शांति। मैं हाउस वाइफ हूँ और बाबा की लाडली बच्ची हूँ।
And this side very quickly. We'll just pass on this side and then we will just very briefly.
Om Shanti Didi, I'm Renu Munjal, and I want to just in short, I'll keep it. I had a miraculous experience with you in London. It was 2019 when I was there.
And you will listen to the experience, but later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please.
Om Shanti Didi, Manish Sinha, Vice President, Times of India.
Om Shanti Didi, I'm Sonal Sinha, I'm a homemaker. Thank you.
Mary Jacob, housewife.
So anyone else?
Om Shanti, I'm Smita Pant. I work in the Ministry of External Affairs.
I think you can come in front. There's a seat left for you. You're comfortable there? All right. So thank you so much for introducing yourself, and thank you to Didi for being so patient and listening to all of us, observing us. So to welcome her now formally, I request Asha Didi. Maybe some of you would have met Asha Didi before. She is the director of Om Shanti Retreat Center, and also been practicing the Raj Yoga and being associated with the Brahma Kumaris as a child. And sometimes Didi talks about Sister Jayanti and how she was and how they've spent time together and how she really developed her spirituality to that extent that the position where she is now. So I request Asha Didi to share a few words of welcome to our guests here and to Sister Jayanti.
Om Shanti. Namaste. Nya. Om Shanti. Hari. ओम शांति। एक बार अच्छी तरह से बोलो। ओम शांति। ओम शांति। आज आप सबको इकट्ठा गुलदस्ते के रूप से देखकर बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। तो सबसे पहले आप सबका स्वागत है। आप सब अपना समय निकाल करके पहुंचे हैं। अलग अलग फूल तो समय प्रति समय मिलते रहते हैं, लेकिन सारे फूल इकट्ठे होकर के एक गुलदस्ते का रूप बन जाए तो कितना सुंदर लग रहा है। और वो भी वो गुलदस्ता जिसके मन में आस्था है, अध्यात्म की, स्पिरिचुअलिटी की चिंगारी है। और वो गुलदस्ता जो कुछ जानना चाहता है, चात्रक है। आप सबके चेहरों से मुझे लग रहा है कि आप सब चात्रक आत्माएं हैं। चात्रक समझते हैं? चात्रक समझते हैं? यू अंडरस्टैंड चात्रक? नो? जी कपाल? चात्रक जो कि सुनने का, जानने का, मानने का, पहचानने का इच्छा रखता है। शब्द शब्दों में कहूं तो ऐसे हमारे मध्य में आप सब हो, और उसके साथ आप सबको एक जिसको हम कहते हैं सत्ताश, एक जिसको हम कहते हैं डायरेक्शन देना, एक जिसको हम कहते हैं एक्सपीरियंस से दूसरे को एम्पावर करना। आज वो आत्मा जयंती बहन के रूप में हम सबके सामने उपस्थित है। और जयंती बहन का बहुत ही, मैं आपको बता नहीं सकती, शायद ये आत्मा ऐसी है जिसने सब इतने किलोमीटर्स की यात्रा की होगी जिसका रिकॉर्ड शायद कोई और बीट नहीं कर सकता। इतनी फास्ट आपकी ट्रैवलिंग, सवेरे एक जगह शाम को दूसरी जगह, और बचपन से लेकर के एक आपका भाग्य है कि फाउंडर, जो इस ईश्वरीय विश्वविद्यालय के फाउंडर रहे, आपने डायरेक्ट सस्टेनेंस उनसे लिए। तो जब व्यक्ति फाउंडर से कनेक्टेड है तो उनके केवल बोलने होते हैं। इट्स नॉट मेरली स्पीच, इट्स नॉट द वर्ड्स, बट साथ साथ उनको बाबा कहते हैं। बाबा मीन्स पिता। पिता ने अपनी डॉटर को अपनी सारी शक्तियां, इनका भविष्य देखते हुए इनके अंदर उसका सृजन किया। तो ये आत्मा कोई कम नहीं है। फाउंडर के साथ हमारी दादियां फाउंडर की सहयोगी रही, साथ साथ थे। परंतु जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन रही, जिसमें जयंती बहन, इस नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को उन्होंने स्वयं पाला है, दिशा निर्देश दिया है, और बचपन से ही बाबा ने आपको स्पिरिचुअल लीडर का टाइटल दिया। बचपन से बाबा लेक्चर आप लोग लेक्चर समझेंगे, लेकिन जब बाबा डिस्कोर्स दे रहे थे, सामने ही बैठे थे बाबा ऐसे करके, ये स्पिरिचुअली। तो बाबा ने इतने वर्ष पूर्व, आज से 70 साल पहले, 70 years, more than that, 70, around 70.
73 so must be 60 years.
तो उस समय से आप सोचे, तो जैसे किसी कोहिनूर पर नजर पड़ जाए तो फिर आप उस कोहिनूर को छोड़ते तो नहीं है ना, उस पर नजर बनाए रखते हैं। तो बाबा ने आज दिन तक अपनी नजर इस आत्मा पर बना करके रखी हुई है, और आज ये मिसाल आदर्श के रूप में, एक एग्जाम्पल और आइडियल के रूप में, आप कहेंगे हमने बाबा को नहीं देखा, आप कहेंगे हमने दादियों को नहीं देखा, लेकिन बाबा आपको कोई कमी नहीं छोड़ता। उन्होंने जयंती बहन को आपके पास भेजा, इनको अच्छी तरह से देखो, इनसे अच्छी तरह से लाभ लो और फायदा लो, ठीक है। तो ऐसी महान आत्मा जिसका जीवन बाल्यकाल से स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में ही रहा है, उसका मैं दिल से आप सबकी ओर से, अपनी ओर से, दिल्ली की ओर से भरपूर रीति से पदम गुणा स्वागत करती हूँ, स्वागत करती हूँ, स्वागत करती हूँ। हम लोग बचपन के फ्रेंड्स, जयंती बहन लंदन में थे, मैं तो यहाँ थी, परंतु जब जयंती बहन आती थी, मैं आपको एक छोटी सी बात बताऊं, शायद जयंती बहन को याद हो या नहीं, हमारी जो दादियां हैं ना, दादियां जिसको हम कहते हैं, हमारी जो चीफ थी दादियां, वो हम लोगों की हर एक्टिविटी पर बहुत अटेंशन रखती थी, गाइड करते थे। जैसे कहते हैं ना, गॉसिप नहीं करना है, ये नहीं करना। तो हम लोग यंग एज में थे बहुत, उस समय माउंट आबू में थे, हम नखी लेक घूम के आ रहे थे। आफ्टर लंच हम दोनों बहनें नखी लेक घूम करके आ रहे थे, और जैसे ही हम माउंट आबू के पांडव भवन के गेट पर पहुंचे, तो दादी और दीदी, उनको हम कहते थे, वो दोनों 100 कदम लेते थे। आफ्टर लंच 100 कदम चलते थे। तो वो चल करके गेट तक पहुंचे और हम लोग नकी लेक से राउंड लगा करके वहां पहुंचे। दोनों बातें करते आ रहे थे। दादी दीदी कहते हैं, सच बताओ, अभी अभी तुम दोनों क्या बात कर रही थी? दोनों सखियां मिली हो, क्या बात कर रहे थे? तो हम लोग तो बता दिया, अच्छी बातें कर रहे थे, तो हमने बता दिया। कहने का भाव ये है, और ये चीज जयंती बहन में है, कहते हैं व्यक्ति को कौन बनाता है? व्यक्ति को समय बनाता है। समय की कदर मात्र नहीं, मैं कहूंगी समय की यूटिलाइजेशन आप कैसे करते हैं, वो व्यक्ति का व्यक्तित्व बनाता है। इस आत्मा ने अपने समय को बहुत अच्छी तरह से यूटिलाइज किया, और उस कारण से आप वो हैं जो आप हैं। तो अब अधिक समय न लेकर मैं जयंती बहन से ही निवेदन करूंगी कि आपके साथ रूबरू होंगी और अपने वचनों से आपको लाभ देंगी। ओम शांति।
Om Shanti. With your permission, I'd like to speak in English. I can express myself more easily. Is that okay with everyone? Thank you. Firstly, I want to say that everything Asha Didi has said about me applies to her also. Because since childhood she's been with Baba, since childhood she's known the dadis and had that sustenance from the dadis, and the rest is history. And yes, we've grown up in this organization together and have come together at many different points to share things from our heart with each other, but also to compare notes, what's happening here, what's happening there, and to learn from each other also. It's a beautiful topic for tonight, and I witnessed the little activity that you were all engaged in, the power of blessings. I'm curious to know who has really experienced the power of blessings in their life. I think some are being a little bit shy because I imagine and I'm seeing from your faces that all of you have experienced the power of blessings. Whether it's blessings from parents, whether it's blessings from family, teachers, some of you may have gurus, blessings from the guru, but definitely you've experienced blessings. And of course I've mentioned all the human beings we get blessings from, but we also experience blessings from God. Things happen in our life and we say afterwards, maybe it was a challenging situation and we didn't identify it at that time, but afterwards when we've come out through it, then we say it must have been God's blessing that this happened in this way. And so all of us have had that experience of how blessings make life much smoother, be able to travel through life more easily, more comfortably, and we come out with victory. And when I speak about victory, it's nothing to do with anyone else, but usually victory is something in which we've experienced something going on inside our own world, and we've felt that special power reaching us, and we've been able to overcome that, and we've been able to move forward. And we realize that if it hadn't been for help from above, we couldn't have made it on our own. We wouldn't have been able to come out with a smile and say, yes, there is victory. And so blessings are a special energy. Blessings are a special gift. Blessings are very powerful. And if we can always make sure that our life is filled with blessings, it's a very beautiful life. And sometimes people think that blessings happen by chance. But in fact, I think there's something that we call karma. And it's interesting that abroad also, there are two words from the Hindi language that have come into every language that I know of across the world. One is yoga. Nobody translates the word yoga into their local language. They all say yoga. And the second word is karma. Again, people talk about karma worldwide, and they don't have to specify, they just use that word, they don't translate it. And so India's given many, many gifts to the world, but especially these two are a special gift. But blessings also come through good karma. And if today I focus on that and I say, whatever it is I'm doing, can it be not just fulfilling a sense of responsibility, but can it also be that it's filled with kindness and compassion and selflessness, altruism? Then if I'm concerned that my work is not just for me or even for the care of my family, but my work is to be able to help others in the world, then I think those sorts of actions, and more than the action, the attitude with which I do something like this is definitely going to bring me many, many blessings. And so I feel that I'm here because of blessings that I've received, not hard work on my part, but really blessings. And yes, if I continue to have that attitude of love and compassion and kindness for others, then my life is going to continue to be filled with blessings. And so there was a lovely comment that we heard in one of the lessons. Asha Didi was talking about the discourse that Baba spoke every morning, and we call it the Murli, the magic flute, the magic music that changes our consciousness away from physical consciousness into a spiritual awareness. And in a recent Murli, Baba said something that went like this. The future is simply a shadow of the present. And so whatever it is I'm doing today, the shadow is already being created, and it's the outcome, it's the result of whatever it is I'm doing now. And we know that, generally speaking, but the way it was phrased, the future is but a shadow of the present. It was such a profound way of expressing that idea that weeks later it's still registered in my head. But it's a story of karma. Whatever it is I do today is going to determine my destiny. And in fact, we now have a campaign, and I'm not sure whether you heard about it, but at some point you will. But it starts tomorrow and it's being launched tomorrow. And it's about being the creator of your own destiny. And yes, I do create my own destiny. Yes, God's help, God's blessings, God's power are the guidance that makes it happen. But I am the one who's responsible for my own destiny. And the beautiful thing is that not only are each one of us recipient of blessings, but each one of us is also an instrument who can give blessings to others. And so how do I do that? The word blessing seems to be a very elevated term, and it is. And maybe if I make it a bit simpler, then we can see how we can all participate in that and do that for others. And that is simply have good wishes, good feelings and good wishes for all. And it sounds very simple. And every time there's a festival, whether it's Diwali or Christmas, we say good wishes, best wishes, good feelings for everyone. And so it's become an expression that we use. But genuinely, if I look into my heart and I ask, do I really have good wishes and pure feelings for everyone? Not just those who I know in an intimate way, not just those who I'm close to, but even those who maybe I've had challenging experiences with. But can I still say that, yes, I've been able to clean out whatever was in my heart that maybe caused a bit of hurt, a bit of pain, but have I been able to clean that out, and now there's only good wishes for them, pure feelings for them also. And I think that's the human journey that will help elevate us and bring us to a high level in which there's a lovely word, Devta, Dene Wala, the one who gives. And maybe that's the way to become a Devta. Because what can I give on a physical level to everyone? I can't. There's no way that that's possible. But what I can give is just good wishes and pure feelings. And so that's the way that all of us can actually share blessings with everyone. When challenges come in our life, we have a question, why me? But if I turn that around and say, why not me? That will make a difference. And yes, I can do that. Whether it's ill health, Asha Didi was speaking about our daddies. Some of you met some of our daddies, but we had the fortune of meeting all our daddies. And when we say daddy, yes, of course, it means a grandmother or an elder, a senior. But in this context, we're talking about the people who came to the Brahma Kumaris in 1936, 1937, and stayed with us till last year. Last year, Dadi Gulzar passed away, and in 2020, Dadi Janki passed away, 104 years of age. And until that age, she passed away in March. Till the end of January, she was traveling and sharing blessings. And why I mention that is because I knew her intimately. I shared a room with her for 40 years. When she was in London with us there, she spent 40 years there, traveling a lot, but her base was London. And she had many, many challenges of physical health, but she would always feel that it's an opportunity for her, to experience what others may be experiencing, but also she would treat it as an opportunity for silence. She would say, I don't need anything, I'm fine. And she would just be in silence, maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, maybe a few more days longer than that. But in that silence, what she was doing was recharging her inner battery. And she would then be up and around. Once she was well, she'd be up like this, and she'd be back into circulation 18 hours a day. That was her norm. 18 hours a day was normal for her service. So maybe it's health issues that come to us. Can I turn it around and see it as a blessing? Can I feel that it's actually benefit for me in this? And whatever else may come my way, again, to be able to see what is the benefit in all of this for me. But also then, it's not just for me. If I take benefit from every situation, others around me also are recharged and inspired, and they also can see how to do the same. And so when people say, well, what is spirituality? Yes, I've talked about people who've given their life to God and service of humanity. That is spirituality. But in fact, to be able to live my life in the best way possible is what spirituality teaches us. To be able to develop my own inner potential and come to the highest within my own inner world and be able to use that in whatever work it is I'm engaged in, that is spirituality. When I decided that this is to be my life, I was by then 19. Until then, the Brahma Kumaris were my family with a lot of love and connection, but I didn't think that this would be my life. But age 19, I decided that this is to be my life. And I said that to Baba. And 7 months later, Baba had passed away. This was a conversation in June 1968. January 1969, Baba left the physical world. And at that time, I thought, I want to stay in Mount Abu forever. But Dadis told me otherwise. The Dadis said, no, you have to go back to London. Go back to your family and serve people there. That is the proof of what it is you have learned here. And they didn't allow anyone to sit on top of a mountain, literally, physically. We were in Mount Abu at that time. And I thought, I don't want to leave here and go anywhere at all. But their concern was that the world needs spirituality. Many people have forgotten about spirituality, and they need to be reminded. It's there within every single one of us, but we forget. And so to come back to the awareness of who we actually are, and when we do that, what happens is that, well, you look at the world around you, and you see people struggling so much in so many different ways. And it's not just the division between the have and the have-nots and COVID and whatever has happened in this time period. There's 1% of the world that's controlling a lot of what's going on in the world. And you know all the other statistics connected with that. But you're also seeing a huge amount of pain, of sorrow, of suffering in so many different ways, whether it's physical or whether it's mental. And of course, mental ill health is perhaps the epidemic that we're going through, the pandemic that the world is actually going through. Silent, incognito, but the World Health Organization recognizes it as a pandemic, actually. This is the situation today worldwide. And this is because we've forgotten how to tap into our own inner resources. And as soon as we come to the awareness of what a human being really is, there's the human, the physical side, but there's also the being. And we've forgotten about the being the inner being that I am, the world that is actually within me. And as soon as I come back to that realization that I'm not just flesh and bones and matter, but the living being within, from that moment on, I can tap into my own resources. And the original state of every single soul is that of peace. When we say Om Shanti, that's what we are saying. Om, I am, Shanti, peace. This is my original state of being. And the Gita has a beautiful expression that states, Swadharam hai Shanti. Swadharma, my original dharma, is not Hindu, Christian, Jew. It is Shanti, it is peace. And it's such a powerful statement to remember that. So many of the problems we're facing across the world would get resolved just with this one sentence. My original religion is peace. My original way of life, my dharma, my original duty, my responsibility is peace. And so, connecting with myself, I come back to that experience of peace. I come back to that experience of the truth that lies within. I connect with the love and the happiness that there is within me. And the world can change, really. Because one of the problems of the environment, and Egypt is now having the COP that's, I think they'll start on Monday officially. But the problem with consumerism and materialism, on the one side we feel that it's a sign of progress in the world, and I understand why people say that. But the other side of consumerism and materialism is that we think that this is going to bring me happiness, or this is going to be what I need. And we are chasing things continually. And happiness seems to go further and further away. And yes, one needs material comfort to a certain level, a certain extent, to be able to manage to live comfortably. But beyond that level, if you have a few more rooms in a house, it doesn't make a difference. Yes, I need a basic standard of lifestyle to have a comfortable way of life. But once you attain that, and of course there's, like Mahatma Gandhi said, there's enough for everyone's needs. There's enough for everyone's needs, but not enough for even one person's greed. And we're seeing the proof of what's going on today. That you can have 25 billion. How many figures and zeros are there in 25 billion? I have to think for a few minutes about it. So it's not even figures that we can comprehend. But if I have 25 billions and I'm wanting to have 10 more, well, yes, the world offers that opportunity today. And there are people grabbing those opportunities. But what does it do for me? Is it going to bring me more happiness? Is it going to bring me greater joy? Is it going to bring me a more comfortable lifestyle? Probably it's going to be a lot of pain and pressure and troubles. So consumerism has really got out of hand, and we're using 1.5 times the resources of the planet. And so how long is this going to carry on? Some years ago, people would say, we have limited supply of oil, and that's going to run dry in X years' time. But today we're not even concerned about oil. Rather, we'd say we're using too much oil. However much we're using, it's too much already. But basic issues like water, there's a finite amount of fresh water, and the glaciers are melting. the glacier mountains have disappeared. And so how much fresh water do we have? Can we calculate? So there are so many different issues in terms of the physical development of the world that we've forgotten about. We don't have infinite resources out there. There are infinite resources, but they're inside. And when we start tapping into those infinite resources that we carry within ourselves, yes, then the world can flourish, and then we can have peace and love and happiness and share it comfortably with everyone around us. So spirituality is really to be able to know who I am, to be in touch with myself, and to work from that point of understanding and awareness. And one of the other big crises of the world today, and especially in a time when the cultures are coming together in a mix. When I see India today, is it American influence? Is it British influence? Is it Chinese influence? Well, it's all of that, but it's also the influence of our ancient culture of Bharat. It's a combination of all of that. But all of that may be beautiful, but there's a problem for young people especially, but for most of us, and that is identity. What is my identity? And spirituality gives a completely different vision of my identity. Yes, my clothes might be American, my food might be Chinese, my friends might be worldwide with the global net and the communications we have. But who am I? I'm none of these things. I am the spiritual being, and my identity is that of a spiritual being. And so yes, I can taste all the flavors of the world, but I still am in touch with myself and connected with my own identity. So you can see that spirituality actually has the answers to the problems that we're facing in the world today. Spirituality isn't something that you just leave on top of a mountain or go inside a cave and discover it there, but it's very much a solution to the world's problems at the present moment. And so I'm very, very pleased to be meeting all of you. And perhaps what's important more than a lecture is an exchange. And so I'm happy to hear your comments, to hear your questions.
Thank you, Didi. We were so mesmerized. We were just, we can just listen on and on. But of course, as you say that what we've heard, and we were so, I'm sure we were just zoned out. We were there while you were speaking. But we have some questions. At least I had a couple. But I would give you a chance if what you heard, if you would want to ask anything or share a comment very briefly, you can just raise your hands. Yeah, so just take the mic, use it. Yeah. You have a mic in front of you, you can, yeah.
I've been listening to you on the YouTube and then you appear in person. This question has been bothering me for long. I've been a student of Vedant for several years through my growth. I'll just put it briefly, and I've penned it down just now so that it's clear and not rumbling. Because of your deep experience, at some point, does not soul consciousness reach that just one unified experience where there is no duality between the individual soul and the Paramatma? And because infinity by definition is one, there cannot be two infinities. If the soul, Atma and Paramatma being the same nature, it has to be one. You know, I just need to understand this little difference from what is proclaimed in the Shastras as Aham Brahmasmi, I am God, and what we at the Brahma Kumaris speak of the duality. So, with your experience, if you could just throw a light on this, because it bothers me a lot. Yes.
Well, thank you for being honest and open about what it is that...
Could you be a little louder, Didi?
Thank you for being open and honest about what you're feeling. One of the essential differences between the traditional Vedantic philosophy and the Brahma Kumaris philosophy is exactly this, so you're aware of it. My understanding of infinity is that which is limitless and without end. So God's qualities are infinite, but there's another side to infinity, and that is infinitesimal. And if something is infinitesimal, there's no length, no width, no breadth, no height, no weight, none. And so my understanding and my experience is that the form of Param Atma, the Supreme Being, is infinitesimal. A spark, a point of light. And this light has been remembered in Bharat. When you see a point of light where the light that radiates appears to take this oval form, and you give it a base and you have the Shiva Lingam. And in many, many traditions, there's this understanding of a symbol of divinity being light, a candle, a flame, and so on. And so the form of God is not vast. The form of God is infinitesimal, as is the form of Atma, the soul, residing here in the center of the forehead. And the qualities of God are vast, without end. So wherever I am, it doesn't matter whether I'm in a jungle alone, or whether I'm in a community where we are meditating together, or in a crowd, I'm still alone. The experience of God's love and peace and light is infinite. But that experience comes when I, the soul, connect directly with the Supreme Soul. And God is a disembodiment of energy and vast and infinite. Who do I connect with? Who am I going to experience as my mother, my father, my friend, my teacher, my guide? But when I, as a soul, detach from the body, very much the teachings of the Gita, the eternal, immortal soul, connecting, yoga, union, with the Supreme, with the Divine, that connection, that union, brings to me that experience of infinite light and love. Otherwise,
right.
Yeah. So yeah. So thank you. Yeah, we can take it up. It's a beautiful topic, and I think we have more questions. So thank you for putting it up. And Didi would like to complete that, and then we'll go on to the next question, please.
I just want to point out that this is actually a very, very fundamental point that you've raised, and I appreciate that you've done that. Others can think about it and experiment with it. The most important thing on the path of spirituality is, yes, the theory is fascinating, it's interesting, but how can I experiment and discover for myself what is reality?
Yeah. So I have a question. May I ask?
And a couple of people.
Yeah, a few of them. Can you have a question here? Anybody? Just raise your hands. How many have a question? Just two there. Okay. 3 questions.
4 that I'm seeing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, as the science is progressing, the conflicts in the world are increasing. those who are powerful, they are not spiritual. And those who are spiritual, they are not powerful. So how to create a balance in the world so that the conflicts, they come down and people, they enjoy this world?
I actually think that those who are powerful are spiritual. And I don't mean power in terms of political power or celebrity power or financial power. I mean the power of spirit. Because today somebody's in a position of power and tomorrow they're out. Britain is a good example of what's happened in the last 2 months. Celebrity power. Again, one moment you're hitting the headlines, next moment people say, well, who is this? Financial power, again, it can fluctuate wildly. So I don't agree that any of those things are actual power. Real power is the power of spirit. And that power is power that has goodness, and it has the power of truth, and it has power that can actually bring about a difference to the world. And I believe that at the present time, again, I don't mind throwing in things that I believe with this gathering, which is filled with love and blessings, to make you think about it and to come back to us and spend time with us exploring these ideas. But I think that we're at a very important transition time in human history. Some of you are familiar with this idea, maybe everyone, but instead of thinking of time in a linear way, think of time in a cyclical way. And so Indian philosophy traditionally tells us Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kaliyug, the golden, the silver, the copper, the Iron Age. And probably everybody would agree that it's the Iron Age. But I want to add something more to that. It's not only the Iron Age, it's the last period, the final period of the Iron Age, and we're headed towards the Golden Age, which sounds completely crazy, but it's okay. If you don't sleep tonight, I don't mind. If you're thinking about these things and reflecting on these things, it's good, and you'll get many blessings. But I believe that the spiritual power that's at work in the world today is shifting things from Kali Yuga to Satyug. And I believe that that transition is happening very rapidly at this moment now. So that is spiritual power.
Didi, namaste. In the journey of from self-awareness to self-actualization, self-awareness or self-consciousness is the starting point. My basic question to you and request is that how can I enhance my self-awareness and consciousness?
By the practice of a few things. One is early morning rising, because that's a time for deep silence and the connection with the divine that can give us a lot of inner strength. By spiritual study, again, best is the early morning, because the mind is clear, is fresh, it's uninfluenced by the day. And so start the day with that. And another practice that we have that's very helpful is every hour, on the hour, we have what we call traffic control. And some of you are aware of this. So just pausing for a few minutes, and of course in our centers we play music, and that's a good reminder, but people who are at home have maybe a watch that gives them a signal, or their mobile device can give them a signal. But just to take a pause for 2-3 minutes every hour on the hour, and in that again it's a chance to go inwards and come to a higher consciousness again. It's a chance also to reflect on what my behavior has been in the last 57 minutes. And you see, when you do a checkpoint at the end of the day, so much has happened that a lot gets missed out. A few things, big things you remember, but many things are forgotten. But checking every hour on the hour, and you'll realize very quickly the interaction I had with this one had a bit of ego, or the tone of my voice was not as humble as it could have been, or as sweet as it could have been. So it very quickly gives you an idea of the change that needs to happen. So the check and change every hour on the hour is very, very helpful for self-actualization. And at the end of the day, of course, the audit for the self. What is it that I learned today? Not just what did I do wrong today? No, maybe it's a mistake, but what did I learn from that? So what did I learn today? And what can I change for tomorrow?
So I got the answer to this thing about self-awareness. I wanted to ask, why is silence so significant in spirituality? What does it do? For me, silence is an invitation to endless thoughts. And we all want to be in a process of not overthinking and not kind of getting lost in, worldly stuff. So what does silence really do to you to evolve your spiritual self?
It's in silence that I can focus inwards. Otherwise, my attention is always out there. And again, a bit of a difference between the meditation of Raj Yoga here to what is usually talked about outside. Silence doesn't mean nothingness. Silence means the opportunity to be able to have an inner dialogue with myself, a dialogue with the divine, and as a result of that, to be able to move forward and deepen my experience of who the divine really is and my relationship with the divine. And so silence is an amazing opportunity to move into a dimension which is beyond just the physical dimension, which is related to the external senses. And yes, very often, silence is an opportunity to just have thousands of thoughts, but we can change the quality and the direction of our thinking. My thoughts can take me beyond this world to another dimension. My thoughts can create chaos and lead me into the depths of despair, but my thoughts are actually the wings with which I can fly to that experience of the world beyond. But there's a training. And it's not a training for years and years and years, but an invitation for those who haven't been through our basic introductory course. That's a course of 1 hour sessions for 7 days. And we adjust it according to individual requirements or situations. For example, sometimes we compress it into half a day, 3 days, half day, and that's the full course, or even 5 sessions in 1 day, real intensive. So it's adjustable, but there are basic lessons that we go through to understand soul, God, karma, the cycle, meditation, what is spiritual power, these topics.
Please give her the mic.
You mentioned about destiny and karma. My question is whether destiny can be defined and the karmas that we do add on to the path of our destiny, or do we create the destiny through the karmas that we do?
We could spend an hour discussion about this, but very simply, when I'm born, I bring my past karma with me. And so there's a certain field of possibilities into which I'm born. Maybe I'm born into a family where I have possibility for good education, good upbringing, many different possibilities. Now, from that moment on, whatever it is I do is shaping my future. And maybe I take advantage of the opportunities that I have, but maybe I don't. And we see both things going on in the world. So my destiny is what I make of it from this moment on.
Very powerful. My destiny is what I'm making from this moment on. Very, very empowering. Is there any other comment or question before we are moving forward? Yes, please.
When we talk of blessings, is the person who is giving the blessings should have a purity within him, and then does the quantum of that blessing and effect on other person? Is it a casual way that we say, okay, God bless you, and then what is it that how it really matters in the real world? We all hypocritically say, for the sake of saying, okay, fine, good wishes, and then we forget about it. But should we need to have a purity within ourselves so that that benefit really percolates to the opposite person?
Absolutely. This is why I spoke about how we need to have that cleanliness within the self, nothing but good wishes and pure feelings, and not even just for the individual in front of me, but generally to be able to have had that purity of spirit in which I've cleaned myself. Yes, there is then that power within.
Would I be overstepping my quota if I ask one more, which actually I had penned down but refrained? May I?
Yes, please. Is there any other question before you ask? Okay. I have one question which I'll ask later, but you go ahead.
So this again is not just impromptu, it's again been on my mind for many years. The mind, intellect and sanskars have been defined as subtle matter in the Shastras. Whereas here in the Brahma Kumaris, we talk about it as part of the soul. So I just like to understand. So it's matter, and the Shastras, no? It's not the soul.
I just want to also give you a little bit of background to this. Brahma Baba was a man of the world, very much with children, family, social life, and very reputed jeweler, diamond merchant with an expertise that was unrivaled at that time, and creativity also that was appreciated. He had a series of visions, and as a result of those visions, a vision of God as light, a vision of a upheaval in the world that would create a better world, a vision of the highest attainment of the self, the human being. And he went into a period of silence, literally leaving his business and everything. For 3 months he reflected on everything that was happening. And he understood that it was time for a spiritual revolution through education, and that it's through spiritual education that a better world would come. I'm summarizing a fascinating story that you must hear about whenever we have time, or not tonight. So an invitation for the future. Especially when you take the course, I think they take you through that story of the visions. But as a result of that, he was using a lot of his time in silence and then sharing with others. And the knowledge that was then coming through him wasn't knowledge of his own intellect or his own experience. My understanding it was that he was at that moment a medium, a channel for knowledge from above. And one of the things was this idea that we're now at that transition point, end of Iron Age and the beginning of the Golden Age. Another aspect was not omnipresent God, the qualities of God omnipresent but not physical presence. And another one was of the detailed definition of Atma. So the knowledge is quite different to traditional thinking. And within that, what we understand is that there's only two things. There's spirit and then there's matter. And spirit is soul, and animals also have souls. And matter is this body, this prakriti, everything else. So it's just these two things. And so where are my thoughts? They're not physical. I can't catch them. They're beyond time and space. I can go back in time yesterday to my childhood, long time ago, or I can think about tomorrow or the next 5 years. So thoughts can travel in time. Thoughts can also move in distance, New York, Bombay. Within a moment, I can be there and back. So mind is a spiritual part of the soul. It's part of spirit. The consciousness, the word consciousness takes up all of these different aspects. But consciousness, I create thoughts, I create feelings. Then there's the buddhi, my capacity to understand and retain information, knowledge, but also it's that vessel which has to be kept clean to be able to retain wisdom. But it's also my conscience to discern between right and wrong, good and evil. And then there are the sanskaras. I carry my sanskaras with me wherever I go. So I can change country, but I don't change my personality. My sanskaras are with me. I'm uncomfortable here. I'll probably be uncomfortable wherever I go, because that's my nature, my sanskaras. So all these things that are part of the living being, that is soul, Atma.
So I think it was so deep and it encompassed everything. All the questions and all the answers and all the doubts were so clearly being taken by our respected Didi ji. So once again, thank you so much, Didi.
What about your question?
It was so, you were going in such deep direction. I thought it would be just bringing them back. But if you're out, I mean, there was just one thing which came, which sometimes happen. You mentioned while you were addressing, when you have a health issue, you turn it around and see what's the benefit in it. And that becomes a bit difficult to beginners, especially when because they call us, and they're having aches and pains, they don't have good yoga. So just a mantra, if there is, or a tip on how to convert such a thing and how to see the benefit.
I'll tell you a very, very short story. A woman had come to me and she was in a very high position and her life had been a very, very busy one. And now she'd been diagnosed with cancer. And now she was very concerned whether her husband would still love her, whether she knew she couldn't be working anymore, whether her life would be of any use to anyone, whether her children would be able to still take benefit from her presence. So she had all these questions, and the cancer was one thing, but what was going to be the impact of that on her family and her life was her concern. And I said to her, it was a long conversation, but basically I said to her, take this as an opportunity to spend time with your family and give them the quality of time that you haven't been able to give them up until now. And she began to do this. And it was a journey of about 18 months that she went through this, and the body became less and less capable. But through that whole period, she actually did this, giving quality time to her children, her husband, and by the time she knew it was nearly the end, she said, I feel I've accomplished what I needed to do. And if the cancer hadn't come, I wouldn't even have realized that this is actually what the need was. And so if somebody can actually turn it around when it's something terminal in that way, then surely anybody with any health issue can find a way to turn it around in their mind and to be of service to others. The other thing that I want to mention with all the dadis, whether it was Dadi Gulzar, she went through cancer but came out of it and managed to do a huge amount of service through the 90s and the 21st century and right till the end. Dadi Janki I've mentioned, Dadi Kumarka, Dadi Prakashmani, she had to face several things, but yet their spirit was so powerful that they could feel, yes, the body is settling its karma, but the soul is still able to shine and give light to others. We never had to go and console them. Did you ever console Dadi Gulzar? So we never had to console them, but they would always have wisdom to share with us. And most times, doctors who cared for them would say, when we go to them, we don't have to ask them, how are you? They're asking us how we are, literally.
Thank you so much, Didi. It was a beautiful story, and for all of us, sometimes we forget how to turn things around. So once again, thank you very much. And really, we don't want to end this. We really want to just be here and take and soak all that you have given us. But then time, the clock is ticking away, and we have to close now. We will all be coming and taking drishti from Didi and taking prasad. However, before that, we'll have a moment of silence. And if Didi, I would request if you can give us one thought, and with that, we'll just sit in silence for 1 minute and close it. That's okay. So let's just sit, prepare ourselves for that beautiful thought.
I assume that everyone who's here believes that there is a God and that God is benevolent. So let's just have a moment to think about God's benevolence and the blessings that God gives us every moment.
And so we maintain this silence and we maintain this energy. And with this silence and this pure energy, we will all come from this side, and we have prasad and a blessing card. So you will take it from Didi, and then we will proceed for dinner. The dinner is in dining hall number 5 and 6. So let's further cherish the presence of Didi and this pure energy. Thank you once again, and have a blessed evening. Om Shanti. Also, for those who have come here for the first time, just remember that we keep organizing programs for corporates, for families, and the information is, I would request to be silent. The information is put on our website, omshantiretreat.org. You can always make use of that. Yes.
ये रूहानी अंजुमन न्यारे नजारे हैं, ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीं पे उतरे तारे हैं, ये उतरे तारे कितने प्यारे हैं, ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीं पे उतरे तारे हैं। सबसे पहले इन पे भगवान की नजर पड़ी, सबसे पहले इन पे भगवान की नजर पड़ी, मेरी आशाओं के दीपक तुमसे ही उम्मीद बड़ी, जाने कितनी बार जाने कितनी बार जन्नती उतारे हैं, ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीं पे उतरे तारे हैं, ये उतरे तारे कितने प्यारे हैं, ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीं पे उतरे तारे हैं। खुशियों भरा जीवन जहाँ सबका मन मुस्काएगा। खुशियों भरा जीवन जहाँ सबका मन मुस्काएगा। कहते हैं जन्नत जिसे वो ज़मीं पर आएगा। नैनों से नव युग के, नैनों से नव युग के, नैनों से नव युग के छलकते इशारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे तारे हैं। ये उतरे तारे कितने प्यारे, कितने प्यारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे तारे हैं। सब सुखी सबका भला, ये शुभ संकल्प है। सब सुखी सबका भला, ये शुभ संकल्प है। प्रभु से मिलाना जगत का करना कायाकल्प है। बेसहारों के, बेसहारों के, बेसहारों के मसीहा सबके सहारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे तारे हैं। ये उतरे तारे कितने प्यारे, कितने प्यारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे तारे हैं। ये रूहानी अंजुमन न्यारे नज़ारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे तारे हैं। ये उतरे तारे कितने प्यारे, कितने प्यारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे तारे हैं। ये फरिश्ते जो ज़मीन पे उतरे
तुम ही सच्चे साथी, तुम ही हो सहारे, हम भी रहेंगे हरदम, हरदम तुम्हारे। तुम ही सच्चे साथी, तुम ही हो सहारे, हम भी रहेंगे हरदम, हरदम तुम्हारे। बाबा हमारे, बाबा हमारे, बाबा मेरे बाबा मेरे लिए आते बड़ी दूर से, मेरा जहां रोशन बाबा तेरे ही तो नूर से। मेरे बाबा मेरे लिए आते बड़ी दूर से, मेरा जहां रोशन बाबा तेरे ही तो नूर से। याद करते आते जैसे हाजिर हुजूर थे, हम भी तेरे लिए तन में प्राण धारे। बाबा 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 माता पिता बन के मेरे झूले झुलाते हो, मीठी मीठी तान भरी मुरली सुनाते हो। पिता बन के मेरे झूले झुलाते हो, मीठी मीठी तान भरी मुरली सुनाते हो। सखा सतगुरु बन के पार ले जाते हो, कभी संग संग कभी सामने हमारे। बाबा बाबा मुझसे मेरे बाबा को बेइंतहा मोहब्बत, मुझे शानदार दी है अपनी ये सोहबत। मुझसे मेरे बाबा को बेइंतहा मोहब्बत, मुझे शानदार दी है अपनी ये सोहबत।